In this episode of my TV, I'm exploring a really common branding mistake, and I see small business owners making this as well as personally branded small business owners. And that is the common mistake of keeping it all about you. Here's what I mean. Let's go. Your website, your calls to action. Suki, no meowing. It's half an hour past my snack time. One for luck, two for a letter, three for a kiss, four for something even better. So I'm going to get a letter. When you follow that course of logic and reasoning, I don't think she's going to let up. Suki wants a snack. To take the huge scary leap of leaving employment, betting on yourself and setting up a small business is the beginning of a huge adventure. And when you get started with doing that, you're opening yourself up to being the victim of a lot of advice. And there is a lot of business gurus out there who blanket the whole branded thing by saying, yeah, take a personal branded approach. That'll work for you. And in the few and far between moments off that you have when you're trying to run a successful small business, I'm not going to judge you. I do it sometimes myself. You might have fallen victim to watching the odd bit of reality TV. It's a great way from escaping the stresses and strains of life. Running your business is a mental, physical, and emotional roller coaster. And so it stands to reason the documentation or the creating of content about this crazy experience is going to involve you talking about you and how you're feeling from day to day, a lot of days. It's no wonder then that when branding people like me say, yeah, but it's never about you, you're left feeling really confused. Is it about me? Is it not about me? What the hell am I doing? You feel pulled in all directions. I mean, how personal is too personal? And how the heck can it not be about you? This whole thing is happening because you created it. If you can relate to some or all of this episode is absolutely for you. By the end of this episode, you're going to have a holistic and crystal clear understanding of what it means when someone like me says to you, yeah, but it's not all about you. You're going to be able to get started with the right inspired action of making sure that it's not coming across like it's all about you when we kind of know it is. Are you ready? Let's begin by talking about why this branding mistake is so common. The overly simplistic paradigm of make your brand a personal brand creates this assumption that you've got to make everything all about you all of the time. And seeing influencers and reality stars making bazillions as a result of documenting the bad bits and the ugly bits of their lives can create the assumption that a personal brand is sort of like that. And the story that I just told you about with your life in setting up your business and the crazy journey that that's been for you so far, with all of those compelling twists and turns of fate as they materialize, these are the most interesting things that are probably happening to you right now. And by that logic, that is the stuff you should be documenting and talking about all the time, whilst pretending like you're a personal brand, right? It's the circulation of these different layers of understanding, logic, and reason that make this feel so completely hard to understand. If you're feeling that way about not making everything about you when it is your business and it all comes out of your head, you need to stick around. Side note, let's just clarify what the it all bit really means. When I say it all, or branding people say it all, they're talking about things like your copy, your social posts, your preferences in aesthetics like design and photography, how you prefer people to buy from you, how you want to deliver a service, how you feel, what you're learning, and what you're experiencing in your life. So what happens when you ignore this common branding problem? When you follow these courses of logic or this way of thinking, you are ultimately damaging your brand. People start making the assumption in the way that they perceive you in one of the two following extremes. The first, that you are completely vacuous and you have an all consuming fascination with yourself. And of course, that's going to have an effect on your reputation in your industry. More importantly than that, it can make prospects feel like they are obliged to affirm your position when they choose to subscribe to your world. When deep down, of course, that's not why they're going to do that. Why would they part with their money to join you in the way you think about you as you sell them your product or service? Unless perhaps maybe you were in the business of running a cult. And side note there, please don't confuse that with anything I say about having a cult-like brand. I'm talking about evil, religious, like mind control cult. You don't want that in your brand. The second is that you are a hollow or partial version of a whole person. Showing up just a little bit creates a really awkward gap. And that gap can lead to false assumptions being made where somebody's trying to assume what should go in that gap of understanding when they think about you. So I'm talking about stakeholders of your brand as well as prospects here. It can make customers feel like you are intentionally trying to hide something from them. Or it might be a little bit more subliminal than that. They might just get a gut feeling based on the logic that something's missing, therefore I don't feel much trust with this option. And when you ignore keeping all of your branding efforts about them, your customers and your stakeholders, you ultimately reduce the effectiveness of your branding. The goal here is to make these people feel like your brand has been built for them, that it's all about them, and that you fully see and understand what it is that they want to achieve. Don't forget to take a beat right now and subscribe to the show. If you click on the bell when you do this, you're going to get notified every single time a new episode comes out. So let's get into tackling this problem. How do we overcome this? So how exactly do you begin starting to make it all about them and not so much about you? So the not so big secret in how you overcome this is to be proactive in trying to create a deeply personal understanding and relationship with your ideal customers. As soon as you're able to really understand what drives them before they start searching for you as a service or product that helps them in some way or another, you're going to be able to adapt telling your story that is all about you and this crazy ass adventure that you're on with this business, but you're going to be able to tell it to them in a way that will really resonate with them. A really great way of doing this is to conduct an in-depth interview with some key stakeholders. And you want to make sure that that sample is made up of a mixture of different types of stakeholders. So different types of customers is a great one. Somebody who is brand new into your business as a customer, someone who's been like a loyal advocate of your business and a long-time customer. You probably want to get different advisors, suppliers, employees, different positions of employees as well. Someone ultra junior, someone middle management. You want to mix it up. In that interview, you're going to find out what really drives them. You want to find out what really irks them. And you want to start getting into a free and easy conversation with them to understand what drives them in their business, in their job, as well as in their personal lives. And where does all of that go on their list of priorities? With all of that beautiful data that will come out of those interviews, you're going to be able to start really rigor testing the current touch points of your branding. Do you remember that it all list? That's what we're going to take a look at. You can make sure that all of your copy starts speaking to their needs. Yes, I'm talking about even your About Me page or your bios. It needs to be about their drivers, what motivates them. It's your story and your list of experience and skills and qualifications, but it's in a way that they care about what helps them. You can start making some really important creative decisions with what your stakeholders' views are in your mind when you're forming a decision. Your creative decisions can start to be informed by what the stakeholders think as well. Your creative decisions will now start to be able to be informed about what your customer thinks and feels and the way that they see the world. Another important measure, or you might want to refer to this as like a continual control, is to create lots of different opportunities for feedback loops in the way that you sell your product or service. Be really proactive about collating the data and understanding what the customer would have done to change their experience in your selling or the buying process. And you want to ask that at different intervals as they progress through that experience. As soon as you spot any trends in this feedback, you can be really confident that the changes you make to any of your customer processes will delight your customers. You're going to be safe in the knowledge that you're creating a joyful and frictionless experience for them. If you'd like to get some of my personal help in making sure that your brand is all about them, not so much all about you, then I recommend you take a look at my Cyber Cocktail service. This is a free 30-minute chat where we can get into what your brand is currently looking like and what steps you need to take to make things less about you. To book a Cyber Cocktail, just head on over to www.laurapearman.com/cyber-cocktail. Pick a date and a time on the calendar, fill in the form, and you're ready to rock. What are the key benefits then of making this change in your business and brand? Remember before when I made that not so funny joke about cults, the bad kind? Well, funnily enough, when you make your brand all about them and not all about you, you actually stand a much greater chance of creating a cult-like loyalty with your branding, the good kind. A great example of this is how I feel about the Apple brand. I am a happy, open and honest disciple of Apple. Why am I like that? Well, I feel like Apple gets me as a woman. They've been proactive in the way that they design. They've created a multitude of options that suit me and my sensibility as a creative business owner of the current time. Their products suit my personal design preferences for any piece of technology, or any item for that matter, that is visually pleasing. I also really feel like they've got my back. If or when I might need to tap into my bonus added resource of contacting an Apple genius, if anything, God forbid, touching wood, goes wrong with my technical items that I've bought from them, I know that they're going to help me. There's no qualms or quibbles. It's all taken care of. This makes me feel confident that even though I know I have paid a lot more for my products because they're visually pleasing and they suit my sensibilities, I feel I can trust that there is this wraparound service that should anything go wrong, they're going to be there to help me no matter what. I also enjoy stepping into their physical stores. Now, as somebody who hates shopping, that is high praise indeed. I appreciate that I'm greeted with a smiling face, and I feel like I can expect that same friendly face no matter what store I walk into anywhere in the world. Can you see there how all of those feelings are my feelings about the Apple brand? My feelings are the feelings of the consumer. I haven't said once about how Apple feels about themselves in any of that. It doesn't matter to me. Space has been created for me to be able to imprint my personality and lifestyle onto the Apple brand, to the point where Apple feels like a natural extension of me. Right here, this is the biggest benefit of making sure that your brand is all about them and less about you. The other benefit to making this adjustment to your branding is about longevity. For you, this might involve looking ahead and thinking about how big you want to make your team. And in order to do that, you're going to need to create enough space in your branding to give them, the team members, the opportunity to shine within your brand without feeling like you have to do another big rebrand or brand shift further down the line. A big brand shift can feel quite jarring. Or it might simply mean that you feel a lot more confident that your brand is going to stand the test of time, that your followers are never going to leave you when they finally get sick of everything being all about you, and instead turn into lifelong advocates who will be there to support you no matter what changes you might make further on down the road. If you've enjoyed learning about keeping it all about them and less about you, then you're going to enjoy these episodes up next. I'll see you next time. Mwah. Now, before you go anywhere, don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.